o'clock. It's exactly 10 o'clock. Tracing. This morning a video from what tracing means. You know, the government has been talking about that, tracing.
Oh.
So go back trace. So if you, for instance, you have COVID-19, they say, where have you been? And now you say, with me, with Randy, we all going to be in quarantine.
Oh, geez.
And then these people, whoever they had, that's what they try to go through. Now there's apps.
Oh,
like in India, they have an app. I just found out that you don't have to take it. It's on your own will if you want the app or not.
Okay.
But without the app, you can't go anywhere.
Oh, shoot.
So they force you
okay.
to get the freaking app. Had more downloads in one day than Pokemon had, they said. When that game came out, so cute. You see? And did you know that even in America, if you could be a risk, they can force you to take a shot.
A vaccine.
A vaccine, yeah. If you're
60.
Yes. They can literally come in your house with the police and they can force you.
Oh my God.
This is crazy!
This is insane.
All for stuff that is less deadly than
Yes.
the flu.
Yes. Wow.
That's happened. Who won? We forgot.
Scott, I saw it.
Scott?
I checked.
Yeah. She checks
and
right
Scott,
now.
you had it by like 9 seconds.
Oh, whoa.
I already forgot.
That's a big
I mean,
one.
it was a clear win.
That's wow.
I forgot who was
That's
second, but
so
Scott, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Scott, for that, here's your prize. You get the first question. Okay, I have Scott's written down. Okay, let me see if my paraphrase is right. Thinking when you were fighting, I kind of wrote this cryptically. Would the stuff that you went through when you were fighting, would it, like, related to family and other things, do you think it could have ended another fighter for good? Oh, Scott, I'm so sorry if I'm paraphrasing this incorrectly. Did you have huge challenges in the sport when you were fighting that you think other fighters might have ended them for good? Scott, write me if I'm paraphrasing this incorrectly.
So that some other people maybe have said, okay, stop
yes,
it?
they would have been like, no, it's too much. Yeah, yes.
No. Well, I lost 3 times my way of submission. What about that? That's, for me, I can't stand losing. So, but, it inspired me to start learning the ground game. And after my last loss, as I mentioned, I never lost again. So it's just what you have to put the focus. And I can understand there's some people who probably say, that's it for me. I lost 3 times now. I'm going to call it quits. But I think then he was not a fighter to begin with.
Yes.
They think it's too easy. A lot of people from the outside, it looks real easy. And they come back from the karate class, the taekwondo class, which I also did, and they think the badass is sparring, and they go, hey, I think I can be a professional fighter. I have literally guys who told me that. Because I see him. I see Lyoto Machida. He does just karate. I say, yeah, he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He wrestled his whole life, and he did sumo wrestling as well, which is really good for ground, standing your ground. So, solely an art will make you win. So it depends for Scott, it depends on the person. If people are not real fighters, they will hook up. But every person who made a decision who really likes to fight, I don't believe they will ever quit, whatever happens when you lose.
That makes me think of, and I don't know, MMA obviously as well, but when Ronda Rousey lost, like, what do you think about that? Yeah,
that was a hard one for her to come back from. And that was weird. And you remember, I was talking about, I saw her on the Brazilian Open workout she was doing. And she was punching again. And I'm a guy who always has something to say about technique. And I always think, am I an asshole? But not. Because once I see something, and let me tell you, at that moment when she was hitting the focus mitts, her body rotation, everything she did, I go, wow, I have nothing to say. And my friend says, oh, she's going to do good. I said, no, I'm not saying that. That is completely different than sparring, of course. But on the shield right now, the focus mitts, she looks great, great. And then you have to put that if you can put that into a fight, that will be the gold. But there's a lot of people like that. And so for her to lose, and then the second time to lose, I think it was too much for her. But I would have always tried another time because I know how competitive she is, and what an athlete she is, and they will never go away.
Yeah.
If she doesn't do anything now in a couple of years, in 5 years from now, she's going to go, maybe I should have tried it. You know, what I would do at that particular case, I would just go sign up for smokers. And don't even say that Rhonda's going to come in, and she just appear. And then just do smokers over and over again, because they're not a professional, so they can't say anything that she can't do it. By the way, she's out of the contract right now, so it doesn't really matter. But, you know, just do that. So just get used to it. Just get used to it. You know, and don't care about winning and losing, and then just try it out. And if it goes well, you say, hey, I want to fight one more fight.
Yeah. How did you take your focus off a broken nose when you were fighting Randerman?
Oh, yeah. Simple.
That's Scott too.
When somebody tries to beat your face in even more, which he was doing, the focus goes to that. So, you trust me, all these little things you forget. I lost the contact, and I have -5.5, so I'm blind. I'm literally, if I'm 4 feet away from you, and you have your hand like this, and you look down, I can't see you looking down. And the other eye filled up with blood that had a contact in. So I didn't see anything. I was swallowing blood the whole time. It was annoying, but you know, you're defending yourself. So trust me, you won't have a problem with that.
Okay. Yeah, Scott, I just got that one. Sash wants to know, on his body action system, should he use boxing gloves or MMA gloves?
You know, I like boxing gloves, and the reason I like boxing gloves, the MMA gloves, sometimes they go to here, and the knuckle is a little bit free, you know, and not for the first time, the second time, the third time, you know, but once you keep on hitting, there is a chance that you might hear slowly but surely, because the glove also, this is a fist, right? This is flat. But if you have a glove, it comes up a little bit. So now if you hit with these knuckles first. And over time, that's going to start, you know, you get what do you call it? A scalp. And once that is, you're going to have every day you reopen it. And that's why I like normal boxing gloves, because then I will never have that. Or without boxing gloves, you can do as well, because then you have the fist perfectly flat, and you probably don't want to mess it up. That's the greatest thing about the body exercise.
Okay. Paul wants to know, is there anything that you use to strengthen your memory or your mind? Yeah,
there is. L-theanine, and I don't know if I pronounce it right, theanine?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I used to take that all the time, and then a buddy of mine came out, you know, Ken came with the pills. I was stuck with that cream that had focal. And what they do, they put lion's mane, theanine, all these stuff for your brain. And I really noticed the difference. So for me, it was game changer, a big thing. And also their evening formula, what they do is, since I've been taking it, I'm dreaming again. And like I said, I haven't been dreaming for years. And somehow this now starts dreaming, because I dreamt something about my wife, not what you think, something else. And the next day I thought, man, this is really happening. And I realized it was a dream. And that was the first time I go, wow. I started dreaming again.
That's crazy.
At the moment when I took those. So yeah, for sleep and for waking up, that's great stuff. Focal, F-O-C-L.
Okay. I am actually writing that one down. And also, is there anything to build stamina more? And this can tie into Batman. You asked about something, you don't like running. I don't like running either. O2 trainer. Anything else to build more stamina besides just more volume? And also, Batman doesn't like running. What else can increase stamina?
I didn't like running. I think running is a waste of time. I think long running. You know, if you go for a run for an hour, I understand why they do it. You know, to take the mind off it, to keep the weight down for fighters. But to me, it's the most boring thing ever. And I always say, if I can spend that hour on punching and kicking, which is something I'm actually going to do, it's my profession, I'll take that. So that's why I came up with the Bas Rutten MMA workout, the audio workout. Instead of rope skipping, I said, let's do that. Because then you're punching, you're doing something. Think about this. You get 10 workouts a week. You know, it's a 20-minute thing. That's 200. It's 3 hours and 20 minutes every week. Think about that. 12, 13 and a half hours extra punching and kicking a month. That's a lot, you know, if you count it up like that. So, I would do incline sprints. That's what I do like, because they're 45 seconds only, 30 seconds rest. I wrote that down one time. I believe I have it in the very first Q&A. So if you want to see that whole thing, so then we can spend more time. So if you want, if you ask me the question later, I copy and paste it. I put it in a Word doc.
Yeah.
And the 1 minute rounds on the back.
Yeah.
The 1 minute rounds, 1 minute off, 1 minute round, and then start increasing with 5 seconds increments. That is a really good one as well for stamina.
Do you recommend using the O2 trainer more volume?
To do more. That's what it is.
Well, that's just kind of my follow-up question.
No.
Do you think it's worthwhile to do it more, or do the other stuff like you're talking about?
I would do, if you do the O2 trainer maximum, just 2 times a day.
Okay. So don't throw it in any more than that.
No.
That's going to give you enough benefit.
That will get rid of all the lactic acid in your core 2 times a day, which we have the published medical journals to back that up.
Okay.
That is something you can use EPO, illegal drug, all that stuff. This, what I said, lactic acid away in your core, will do more than that. That's how powerful that is, because you're going to be completely free. Nothing is going to be tight. Your lungs have all the space. It's a game changer too.
Okay, cool. Martin wants to know, what's the future of karate combat?
It's good, it's coming. I think within a couple of weeks, another show's coming. I can't say anything more about it, but I do know it's going to come because we're working on it. So it's good. It's coming.
Okay, good. Drum roll. Alex wants to know, could you have beaten Fedor in his prime when you were in your prime?
I always say yes. We talked about this right before. So I can sound like a complete idiot or whatever it is. But yes, I will go into that fight knowing that 100% I'm going to beat him. Now, if we're going to fight, if the outcome is going to be that, I don't know. But I always like to go to a fight with 100% positive that I'm going to win. I think doubt is really bad for a fighter. So, it sounds like I'm full of myself, but I'm just doing that to protect myself, to make sure that I will fight the best. And if the fight actually happens, we'll figure it out. But striking-wise, I do believe, for sure. And wrestling has great wrestling. He would take me down, and his ground and pound is kind of scary. So, he's a great guy.
I look at it, and also the way you come across, that's not your personality. So I look at it as positive mindset. I mean, if you talk to any really high-level athlete or Olympian, they don't go, oh, I think, they can beat me. Like they're envisioning themselves winning and passing the finish line.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you have to. Otherwise, you've already defeated yourself if you think.
I think, talk about with Frank Sinatra last week. I was talking about, right? Mm-hmm. He has a book, My Way, and that's like the interview like over 300 people, and here's a piece of work, right? But I do give him all the credit in the world, because when he was young, he already said he was going to be the most famous singer there is, and he sucked at singing. But he pushed so hard and kept pushing through. This guy became one of the most famous people on the planet. You have to respect that. You see, that is an ego that will help you to succeed. Then he goes into acting, wins a freaking Oscar, you see, but it's because he is so, I don't want to say it like that. He's so full of himself, that's what I want to say, but he's so confident of his ability, and that's why he performs so well. And you have to respect people like that. You have to. Now, if he would do it, bring it back, because he did that to other people. Like if a girl would come up and she would sing with him and she would get more applause than him, then he would be aggravated by that. Stuff like that. That's what you read in the book. It's a book, and they interviewed over 200 people. So I'm only saying what I read. But I have to respect that guy, because, dude, he said he was going to be, and he did. So I love stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Al wants to know, with the wide stance that we stand, that you stand in, how do you protect against a groin kick? Al, I'm assuming you're talking about, obviously not MMA, like if you were in a street fight.
Yeah,
against groin kick.
That's a really great one, because that example, there's a long time ago that example that my buddy Amir Peretz, was a really good Krav Maga instructor, also my sparring partner, really good. He has an open stance, and they spar with kicks to the balls.
Whoa.
And you never get hit there.
Whoa.
And why is that?
They
do. They spar with kicks to the balls,
That's crazy.
And you never get kicked there, because he measures, it's the same as a jab, staying outside the range, Okay. Sure, once you start fighting like that, you automatically pay more protection to it. Now, of course, make sure you get the steel cups. That's what I would do, the Thai cup. That's what I always had. Make sure it's packaged. The package is packaged. Make sure of that. And then, of course, don't go full power, but start with it. The problem is not going full power. That means you can use speed. Once you use speed, you see. So if you're ready for speed, you're ready for power. That's what I always say. So it's just getting used to it. It's just what I'm saying. I'm wide open, yet I've never been down to the body. Because I know that my defense automatically becomes better here. Trust me. Once there's a way that people can kick you in the pills, your defense will automatically become better because you don't want to get kicked in the pills. That's why. So.
Okay, we have a lot of similar ones that are really good. So I think we'll try to group some of these together, and they're asking both of us. So Ken has lost 100 pounds. That's amazing.
Wow.
Ken. He has 20 to 30 pounds more to go, but on a lot of different ways people are asking it too. What are your tips to get rid of fat but retain muscle? And cardio versus, others, versus strength training.
Yeah.
Let's start with that one.
And I'm happy that you asked her as well. She knows everything about that. I'm like this knucklehead. Listen, I found out in my last fight that maybe was not so good. That was in 2006 that maybe I should eat pizzas throughout the day before training. That's me. Because I always got away with it, whatever. Then when I started eating clean, suddenly I realized, oh man, can you imagine I would have done this sooner? I mean, I'm feeling so freaking great. You see, that was because I was my own trainer, I had nobody telling me what to do. I just did everything myself, figured it out. I overtrained myself at 4% body fat one time. Took me 3 months to get out of that.
Wow.
That's how destroyed I was.
Yeah.
Because I trained every single day, twice a day, because I thought that would make me strong. Until I passed out, and then the doctor told me, hey, take your rest. You're actually going to be stronger now. Trust me. And then I did. I became stronger. So she is the perfect answer for that. You go, Jada.
Well, I don't know everything. Let me start there. But I do like to do a lot of research on things like that. And it's my kind of constant goal is to retain muscle but keep body fat percentage relatively low. Someone asked about intermittent fasting. I do like intermittent fasting. The hours of fasting from my research are different for men versus women. Like men can go up to 16 hours fasting, 8 hours of an eating window, where women more like 12 is plenty because it messes up hormones. But fasted cardio is a great way to burn fat and retain muscle. But that fasted cardio, like the jumping rope, kettlebell swings, things like that. Like that's the type of cardio I love. Or the boxing rounds, like just get it done in like 20 minutes before you've had your first meal. Incorporate that into the day. It also increases your metabolism throughout the day. But again, like I don't run. I don't like running. I don't like traditional cardio. So my form of cardio would be jump rope, kettlebell swings, punching on the body action system, doing rounds like that, burst rounds, like how Bas does, where they're full power. High interval intensity training, where you do something hard. Say punching hard for 40 seconds, rest 20 seconds, or 30-30. There's so many variables, so many ways to do that. Those are some things I'd start with, but then definitely eating clean. Eating clean is huge. Like that one I can't talk about enough, but how much of a factor that is. You can definitely have your cheat meal, your in and out once a week. Once a week would be my recommendation, but eating clean. And I'm happy to go into more of that with the comments too. I'll definitely respond to the comments. The Facebook ones are easier to respond to.
And but I see you guys also measuring fat, and so you know exactly when they lose muscle instead of fat, right? You know
if we go in the dunk tank, if we put them in the hydrostatic dunk tank, then we know we can measure that, and that measures body fat percentage, muscle mass, all that sort of thing. I'm not sure if it's available everywhere, but you go underwater and they measure your body fat, and then you can kind of look back and see what you did over the previous, whatever the time span was, to try to achieve that result. So, but keeping that metabolism up is a good way, with the eating enough, with the eating properly, with the fasted cardio, with the high interval intensity training, and then actually retaining muscle. Really adequate sleep, that's huge. How stressed you are or aren't, that's huge. And recovery is massive too, because your muscle doesn't grow, or retain while you're doing the exercise. It's when you're not, and that's a huge part that gets forgotten. So when you're overtraining, it can be really hard to retain muscle.
Yeah, that was happened to me.
Yeah.
So I didn't give it time to rest and to get strong back. That's the greatest thing about the body. When you break it down, it comes back stronger. Anything in the body. Pretty cool.
Yeah, but you have to allow it to come back stronger if you're sleeping and your recovery. All right, what's the meaning of your Japanese, says Mon, M-O-N, tattoo?
Probably this one?
I think so. I'm not sure. What do both of those mean?
This means it's ki. It's a ki or chi in Chinese, so they have the same kanji in China and in Japan, a lot of them. Means life force. And once I put this one on, I never lost a fight anymore. And I go, whoa, it's working! So I gave myself a long life. This is Xiao. It's a very old Chinese logo. Like when, and I think I said it one time, I was doing Tai Chi with a group of old Chinese people. That was all the way back when I just moved here in the mountains. It was really cool. And one woman I was doing the thing, and she goes, oh, Xiao. I go, what? I said, you're the first person who says this to me, because I knew I was Xiao. She says, oh, it's a very old symbol, but it means long life. I'm just trying to be 100 years old. Since this one worked, I figured, let's put this one on.
And 100 years old, you'll still have good quality of life because you take really good care of yourself.
That's it.
With quality, of course, is always.
Yeah, so then people say to me, so you're superstitious, boss. And then I say, it's bad luck to be superstitious. That's a good one, right?
Anthony, this is a good one. Anthony just asked, if you were about to be jumped, would you run or fight? If you were to be jumped.
It depends. The whole situation depends. If it's jumped like 6 guys, I'll try to run and separate them. And because there's always one who runs faster than everybody else. And you keep running, and then suddenly when you realize he's separated from the group, stop, bang, 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 and then keep running, and then hopefully the other one comes. So that's when you would run. But if I'm jumped, maybe because I walk into something, like something happened to a girl or an older person or whatever it is, yeah, there's no way I'm going to run. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to stay. Because if I don't, I can't live with myself for the rest of my life. And I know that of myself, so I'm going to have to do something. Yeah. Someone
had, sorry, the name went away. Follow-up question: what would be your target to hit on a street fight?
Balls right away. Yeah. If it's more than two people, immediately here. Everybody underestimates the kick in the pills. In the groin.
That would be funny if it said pills.
Right away, you go boom. That's the first one, and the other one you can simply knock out. It's because if you have more, go. And then also in clinch, I would go. If it's live a threat, I'll go immediately. I'll put my thumb this deep in your eyes, sockets. I'll go all the way. But a lot of people, they still do this. They try to push. I only have to do this. It's on. Or turn away with it. You got to go. But I'm talking life in that situation, of course, because you don't want to blind somebody. But if you go. Like I said, when I kick him in the groin, I try to literally, sounds really bad, split him in half. I'm trying to kick his navel button. Belly button. Boom.
Jim, I am trying to get to the questions as quickly as I can. I can't get every question in a row. I did write down your question. Can you meditate even if you don't have a whole day free? Yes, you can meditate in 1 to 2 minute bouts. You can meditate for 10 minutes. You can meditate for 15 minutes.
Yep.
How long are your meditations generally?
25 minutes, but there's many times if I have only 10 minutes, so be it. It's only 10 minutes. It's 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Anything is good. Yes. But you have to really push yourself. Like, turn your phone off. Don't go on your phone before you do something. That's why in the morning, when I posted this yesterday, a day in the life with me, that's why you see after 2.5 hours, this is after meditation, that's when I turn on the phone. Because you know how it goes. If you read a text message, you already want to react. It's in your mind. Mm-hmm. And that's not completely clear. You don't see me on Go or WhatsApp to even check. Nothing. Not on emails, nothing. Completely off. 2.5 hours after I'm awake, that's when I turn it on. So completely free. Because it's quality. It's not quantity, it's the quality. Even in 2 minutes of quality meditation is perfect.
Yes, exactly. Fit it in wherever you can. Vincent wants to know your story about the contact lenses. Do you recommend fighters fight without contacts in and get used to the blurry vision?
No.
I'll
keep them in. I think it's actually safer for you to keep an eye. Not hard contact lenses, but they're gone already. I used to have those little pieces of glass in my eye. That was when I was 17. So that's a long time ago. Thankfully, they're soft now. Soft lenses are actually extra protection for your eye. So don't worry about whatever people say, because it can't do anything. It's soft. It's going to scroll up. It's going to split, but it's not going to do something bad to your eye. So yeah, I would keep it up. It's also better when I was a chef. And I never had my eyes staring up with onions. And now it's like, wow! I never had that. It wasn't because of contact lenses. I didn't have that.
Nice. Do you think CBD really has good effects, and do you feel a difference when you use it?
100%. 100%. That's again, I'll come back to that stuff what Vogel does. What Vogel does is what nobody else did before. They take all the ingredients that are already, well, I took 3 of the 5 ingredients. And now they put it in one pill. And not only that, they add CBD to it. And the CBD enhances everything that you're taking. That's why a lot of detox centers are using this right now. I think last week I could have been talking about this. So normally if you take like 4 Vicodins, because you build up a tolerance, then you can literally take CBD and you only need to take 2 or 3, and you can build it up. You can start to try to build it up. So that's the greatest thing about CBD. It's cannabinoids. We have endocannabinoids in our system. Yeah. We are in direct contact with that plant. There's a reason that the wheat plant is there. Listen, even my priest will tell me that it's okay to use THC and wheat because it's there for a reason. God invented that plant to heal people. So that's the same as alcohol. You can drink alcohol, don't be tempted. It's all temperance and moderation. Just think about that. Of course, if you're all day long, you're not productive, you do anything, good. If you want to make that decision, it's good. I'm not bothered by it, but I wouldn't do that. It's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, several questions about Krav Maga, and I also want to tie it into, Nathan asks, what arts have you all trained in? What's your opinion on Krav Maga? Why isn't Krav Maga used in MMA? And what all have you trained in?
Krav Maga is self-defense. So what I really like is the weapon techniques and the self-defense things like poking the elbow and stuff, which is not legal in MMA. The hand-to-hand that you get in Krav Maga, well, you need to have sparring class. If you don't have sparring class, you're going to be chopped up by any boxer, kickboxer. They will beat you, the crap out of you. You will have no chance. So don't believe that if you can do Krav Maga and in training and I can hit him in front of his face or doing just karate or just taekwondo or just a martial art myself, it will not happen. You need to fight against a professional boxer or a kickboxer to understand how effective it actually is. So good Krav Maga schools, last week I was talking about that, they need a sparring program. This is important, and that you have good sparring partners. Because if everybody fights according to a rule, guess what? On the street they don't fight according to rules. Simple as that. We tune if we all do the trapping. It works against the guys. It works great against guys who also do that. Once a boxer comes, that's a whole different ballgame. Same as with Aikido, all that stuff. And I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just saying here, as a reality check, just solely doing that will not make you an MMA champion, 100% guaranteed. On the street, there's a lot of stuff that you can use. There's actually a lot of stuff from mixed martial artists that they can use from Aikido and all those sports as well. Of course, there's a lot of stuff like that. But solely, there's not one thing out there that will prepare you for like a real street fight. Because you don't know who's going to show up on the street. It could be a wrestler, could be a ground fighter, could be a striker. You have no clue. So be ready for everything. And that's why MMA right now is a sport by itself. And martial art by itself. And
what all arts have you trained in?
Taekwondo, Shintai karate, Kyokushin karate, Thai boxing, and mixed martial arts. And then of course, includes the grappling.
And Krav, too.
Krav Maga, but I've been doing that, I was kind of doing it my whole self, like the self-defense, and then when I came here with Krav Maga worldwide, we started working together, and I went to seminar, and I was talking about this last time also. There's just a really good system, but they constantly update. If something doesn't work in the field, they found out book, they change it immediately, and they make sure, you see, so it's always, it's evolution. I love that.
Martin cannot use CBD in the British military. Is there a substitute?
That's the dumbest thing. Makes no sense.
Crazy. They want not even just plain CBD.
No,
that's crazy.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to go anywhere on politics, but I have the perfect answer for that because I know how that is. It's the dumbest thing. If there's no THC in it, I can understand if there's 0.3% THC in it because it's in. I can understand that. Right. But with 0 THC, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. They will overturn that rule. Just give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
It has to be because it makes the dumbest thing. I mean, it happens for cancer patients. You know that skin cancer right now, if you take CBD, you put it on skin cancer, it cures the skin cancer.
No way.
That's how powerful it is. And that is it. And now they find out for every cancer there's a different kind of CBD. And they're all trying to figure that out now. But there's a lot of good stuff. I interviewed a guy with Mauro Ranello on a podcast, stage 4 stomach cancer. Mm-hmm. His mom died, uncle died, everybody died. He didn't want to go through that. He said he was going to only do cannabinoids. And he took heavy THC and CBD, but also oils that he took, completely cured. Wow. He says you put so much in. And if you only eat greens, you put your body in a state that the cancer can grow in. Mm-hmm. It's like if you need water for something, but you take the water out, well, it dies, right? And cancer goes after all the crap that you eat.
Mm-hmm.
If you
cancer loves sugar.
If you eat perfectly clean, it cannot live in your body. So you got to completely change for 6 or 8 weeks and only eat greens. Yeah, it's a nightmare, but guess what? It's going to be gone.
Nice.
And I'm not talking about any cancer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying that. But this is just proven. You can ask any doctor about it.
Right. Do you think kickboxing, karate, and BJJ is a good MMA combo to train?
Yeah, I love that. That's a great, great combination. That was mine, actually, because wrestling, I always sucked at wrestling. So I could ground and good striking.
And Ace of Spades wants to know, who taught you your ground game?
Me, myself. Just watching tapes and breaking everything down. But again, I'm talking about an obsession. Once I become obsessed, it's a whole different ballgame. There's nothing that I won't do to not do. I would wake up in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock and I had a great training partner. Leon Van Dyke was the only guy I had. And I would literally call me in the morning. I said, dude, I got to try it out right now. He would drive to the gym by ourselves. We had the key. And then we were in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock, we go over it. That's how obsessed I was with it.
That's crazy.
I would come back from a fight and there was a certain move. I think I said that.
Yeah.
And then I called him on the way over. I say, go to the airport right now. We go off to the gym. I'm coming from the airport. I think I have a way to fix the mistake I made in the fight. And I won that fight. So it was just a thing in there that I couldn't stand and I couldn't break.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. That's very dedicated, obviously. Wim, saw your day, probably the day in the life that you did on Wednesday, right? Do you know the approximate cost of all of the supplements that you use in your daily life?
You know what? That's why I tell people, find your own brand, what you like. I will go to a big brand and Google about it. Like, for instance, the omega-3s that I have, I know they're expensive. They're like $70. But, there's so many officials out there right now that have the bad stuff in there.
Yeah, or they have stuff added to them. They're rancid. They're not.
I mean, even fish. A friend of mine ate fish every single day because he wanted to be healthy. He got a mercury poisoning. Mm-hmm. That's how bad the fish already is. That's just... So you can imagine if they get fish all out of fish. So make sure that is perfect. So spend a little bit extra money.
Yeah.
I would say a month, $120, $130 for everything I have. And I don't know, because if I buy magnesium, I buy a big bottle and I go 2-3 months with. So it's not that bad.
I don't know either. And I actually got asked this by Khalid. We were messaging about supplements. Because I have a big supplement regimen too. And when people ask me that question too, same thing. I'm not really sure. They are expensive. You have to, quality things, just like quality food. Like, you want your supplements to be from a whole food source, and like we're talking about a multivitamin. You want them to be, non-GMO, all of that. So these should be expensive. They should not be cheap. But here's another thing that I've learned researching supplements. It's better for you to buy an expensive one and use less if you want to make it last longer.
Yep.
Because at least you're getting that quality. So even if, say, like the serving size on the fish oil says 3 capsules per day, even if you get a more expensive one but only use 1 capsule per day, at least your body is absorbing something good versus buying the $10 one and using the full amount. So buy what you can, and you can build up over time. You can add more to your regimen. So, but get what you can, but get quality, even if you use less of quality.
I heard this really disturbing thing. Is like, for instance, 50 years ago when you had like spinach, 1 pound of spinach. Right now, to get the same nutrients out of that was in here, you need like over 70 of the same size spinach ones. 70.
Yeah.
Our
crops, our soil, monocropping, the fact that the earth has to feed so many people.
That's the soil, isn't it?
Yeah, the soil. And monocropping, where they're only growing one thing on a crop, versus also having animals on the crop and having multiple things growing together. Like our food is depleted, most of us believe, which is why we need supplements. So as good as we try to eat, it's just not the same as it was back then. Marcos wants to know, how did not being able to use closed fists and pancreas help you grow?
I don't know. Just like I said, I was a bouncer fighting with palm strikes because I saw my buddies breaking their hands on skulls. So I was hitting with open hands because you have a longer left punch. I always talk about distance, right? And I said this before also. If I give a left hook and I connect, I'm too close for my right straight. See, I can't travel. If I give a palm strike, now I got a long way to travel. So palm strike sets up a straight punch much better than a left hook right straight. Now, of course, if you make a left hook and the opponent moves backwards, cool. But if the opponent is against the wall and you want a left hook right straight, you got to make it an elbow or a hook or an uppercut, whatever it is. But you have to make that switch. So I like palm strikes a lot. Keep the opponent away. And it's just more accuracy. I don't know. I think if I can knock somebody out with a palm, it's pretty easy to do with a closed fist. That was my biggest wish. That's why with Pancras, when I left 3 months later, they closed their fist. I go, are you serious? I was waiting for that moment, but unfortunately, it was not when I was there.
I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, Beyonce. I agree. They said if you grow your own spinach, it could be quality. Totally agree. You have control over your own soil, homegrown stuff.
Always the
absolute best.
We're doing tomatoes right now, my wife.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could grow everything at home, that would be amazing. Majid wants to know, how did you feel when you had to leave the belt to go to the hospital for the birth of your daughter?
Nothing at all. I didn't care at all. There was priorities.
You said you knew you would just get it back next time.
Yeah, if I wanted, I was going to get it back. No, there was nobody beat me in the last 17 or 18 fights when I was there. So I was so cocky at that moment. I go, whatever, take it. I'll get it back. But it also spurred me to say I didn't want to fight anymore. It made me angry. But no, it made me angry because they said that the Japanese people wouldn't understand it if I would choose to fight for the belt instead of staying home for my wife and Vivi. And I started
laughing. They said the Japanese people would not understand it if you chose to fight.
If the other way around.
The other way, okay.
And I go, if they don't understand it, they can go screw themselves. And of course, they backtrack that because the Japanese people, of course, care and they want you to stay with the family. Okay. But the way they brought it to me, trying to reverse psychology on me, I go, are you serious? I go, no, they can go screw themselves if they think that. But they don't think like that. Nobody thinks like that.
Speaking of daughters, this one was funny. I'm sorry, I didn't get the name. Did you ever take a boyfriend of one of your daughters on a fishing trip? And
They call me the Baptist.
And explain the rules.
These are the rules. Yeah, my nickname becomes the Baptist when I'm out with my daughter's boyfriends. No. I'm a real easy guy. They do get the warning though. The only warning they get is driving and drunk, and something happens. I'm going to whatever happens, same thing back to you and your family. And then they look at me, and I say, I know, maybe can come out wrong. Mm-hmm. I said, but just visualize, put yourself in my thing. Mm-hmm. If you drive drunk with my daughter, and my daughter dies, it's going to be a big problem for you. Mm-hmm. I'm not kidding. That's the only thing I'm asking. I say, think about that. It's the only thing. I'm not saying anything about sex, but there's nothing. Just don't drink and drive or be on the influence and go in the car with my daughter. That's the only thing I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So I'm a pretty easy father-in-law, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the boyfriend of Sabine, he's trained here. They've been together for a long time. He's a super cool guy. He's awesome. Josh is a bouncer, and he doesn't want to hurt someone if he has to do crowd control. Do you think a blood choke is safer than striking in self-defense?
100%. Yeah. I would always do that.
You had it.
And the problem you're going to have with this one, you watch out, because for the people it looks like you're killing the person, because people don't know what a choke is. They don't know it's the most humane way to actually put somebody away. That's what I would do all the time. If somebody's super aggressive and like they rammed an ashtray in somebody's face, he's going to get knocked out. But if somebody's just drunk and being an idiot, I would never beat that guy up. I would feel so bad. I mean, he would wake up the next day not even knowing what happened. I would just choke him out. And then, but there's people, you're killing him. They're freaking out. And I said, no, he's just going to sleep, But yeah, try to say that. Because it looks, every movie will tell you that you kill somebody. Put him away, put him on his side, make sure that his tongue, he doesn't swallow his tongue, So lay him on his side, make sure clear everything. I will put zip ties. That's what we have. And then just let the police come. And if you have to pull, if you need to control him on the ground, just figure for his legs, like this. So you're laying on your belly, These are the legs. You put one foot here, this is the foot, and this here. And then sit on this. Just sit on there.
Okay.
When he's left flat on his belly, he can't step up. You just need somebody who sits there, holds him there. That's the easiest way. Not what we saw with the knee on the throat, what the cop was doing. Oh man, can you imagine you kill a person like that? Like what's going on right now in America? Imagine. Wow. And somebody actually told him not to do it. It was very dangerous. It was a carotid artery that while he was doing it and not listening. Oh, that was a shame. Oh, that poor family. Yeah, you see, a figure 4, that would have been maximum. He might hurt his knee a little bit, but that's about it. There's no damage whatsoever if you do that. And then he can't get up either.
Yeah. How was it to meet Dolph Lundgren?
He was awesome, man. That's such a good guy. And also, right away, he was that Kyokushin guy. European champion. A lot of people don't know that. And Europe, man, the karate guys are freaking really good. The Kyokushin guys, the full contact. Yeah, Peter Smith, all these guys. Michel Wedel. I mean, there were some guys, Scharenberg, Koen Scharenberg. Those were guys that were freaking men who break people's arms with kicks. And so meeting Dolph Lundgren and asking him about Club 54, because there was with Grace Jones there. And I said, was that really such a good club? He was a good guy. I really like that person.
That's awesome. Simon wants to know, what have you mentally gained from fighting in MMA?
Everything else in life, if you approach everything like every job comes back to the same stuff. It doesn't matter. So always hard work will prepare you for anything. When I was a kid, I had 4 jobs. 2 newspaper jobs, dishwasher, restocked groceries, and I was working on the farm. Hated it at the time, but my mom and dad told me to have to do it if I wanted to make money. But now, like 10 years ago, I called my dad and said, hey, by the way, thank you so much for doing that, because now I realize what you have done for me.
Yes.
It was so easy for me to work. I never care if I work 16 hours a day, because and we're fighting too, you're pushing, you have to train while you don't want to. I'm not a guy, if I'm sick, I'll come in. I'm very hard for whatever job I have, as long as I can make other people sick, but I will do my job. I rather work than call in a sick day. I think it's so weak when you do it. When you know you kind of can do it, go work.
Yeah.
Be that person. So yeah, fighting prepared me for everything. I just applied whatever I did in that to this, but already fighting, I applied everything that I had when as a kid. Also, what helped me as a kid, the asthma attacks. I go to a restroom, and I was 1 flight of stairs up. So that would be a 20, 25 minutes just to go down, not even about to going up. So that mentally, you have to do it. You have to go to the restroom, right? So you learn to when you need to do something, you have to do it. Yeah. That's why I tell people, just commit. Once you say, yeah, don't gray areas, not maybe, yes or no. Black, white, that's it. Mm-hmm. Do that with everything and you're used to it. And in 6 weeks, you do with everything. It's so simple.
Yeah. How did you deal with the anxiety of fighting? Flash Gordon wants to know. That's a cool name.
That's every one of us.
That's what I heard. I read his name and I'm all
Queen. Talking to myself. I talked about in the past. Just talk to yourself and go over the fight. What can really happen? And you're going to find out there's nothing that can happen. There's just the referee. If you tap, you're not going to get choked out or break your arm. If you get knocked out, apparently you're not going to feel it. What is the worst thing that can happen? There's not a lot that can happen. The worst thing that can happen is a guy who completely dominates you, complete mismatch, who hits you, boom, boom, you fall down, he walks away, he says, no, get back up, I want to keep it there, and he just tears you a new one. But with good matchmaking, that will never happen. So, you get knocked out, so what? I remember Eve Edwards, he told me, and I like that, and I forgot I said that, but I went to watch him fight. And he was a little nervous. I say, relax. If you win, yay, great. If you lose, yay, great. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. And last 2 years ago, I was working with him on the Professional Fighters League, and he says, you remember, I never forget what you told me at that time. And it made me so calm, that it doesn't matter what happens, as long as you leave everything in there. If you lose a fight because you could have done more, yeah, that's a hard one to mentally, because now it's you. But if you just didn't give up and just kept on going, you can never lose. Not in my eyes, not my students. Mm-hmm. They can't. But if I see a student who doesn't pull the trigger, while I know he can do really well, yeah, they're going to hear from me afterwards. They go, dude, What were you doing? You're so much better than this. So,
Mark, I think that answers your question too. Tips on how to get mentally ready for a fight. I think that first fight, that's some really good stuff. So,
and the power training, the interval, the 45 seconds on that will get you mentally ready. And it's weird that I'm saying right now because those 45 seconds are going to be the hardest, longest 45 seconds. And the rest, when you jump off the belt, that's going to be the shortest 30 seconds rest. They go really fast, it looks like. It makes you mentally strong. And also, it keeps going the same speed. On a hill, you can control the speed. Mm-hmm. On a treadmill, you can't. It keeps coming 9 miles an hour on an incline. So that makes you mentally very strong to push through.
Robert asked a while back, is there anything you do differently early on in your fighting career, knowing kind of like what you know now?
No, it's always been basics, yeah.
Okay.
Everything's basics. My basics are super strong, and I know that because that's the only focus I have. All the flashy stuff, I'll do if there's a moment for that. You know, which pretty much never happened. Maybe after the fight when I made the jumping split kick, that was it. Because why would I take a risk? Why would I turn myself around? So many fighters who suddenly do a kick while they cannot even kick well, and then they lose the fight. They got clipped, they missed,
Because they want to do a flashy
back
kick or something.
For what? To please who? It's about you. Always do it best what's for you. Winning or losing, it doesn't matter if it goes to a decision. But try to fix it. Try to finish it. That's what I always say.
CBD Love, I like your name too, wants to know, do you think Mike Tyson will come back successfully?
I think I have to. I mean, I'm an idol, I'm a big Mike Tyson fan. I think right now he's in a really nice headspace. Mm-hmm. Everything is out. All the problems he had were gone. All the leeches is gone. Everybody he's got his normal job. He's got the whole Tyson week thing that he has. He's got a podcast. He's, the way he looks, I think he's in a good space. We're going to find out. Like I said last week, sometime, because after his last fight when he said, that's not me anymore, he was talking like he was a different guy now, which I can completely understand because I'm that too. I'm a different guy than when I was fighting now. But if he got that hunger back, and if we see 10% of old Mike, it's going to be hard to beat that guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looks really good. I'm super stoked about this.
Mm-hmm. Were you ever approached by WWE or Ring of Honor for a post-career?
Yeah, WWE. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago here. Yeah, we wanted to do the forward power together with Mako Huas and Oleg Tatarov. With the three of us who will be together. It was a very lucrative contract, but my daughter was just born, my youngest daughter. And I missed the traveling. I had over 200 matches a year. That's without the traveling. So I'm going to be gone 280 days a year while I just have a new little baby. I'm not going to see her grow up. That is stuff you can never come back. That's it. You lose it. That's time you cannot get back. So I decided not to do it, which was very hard because I really needed the money at the time. Mm. Like I was living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. That's crazy. Is there anyone, Liam, most difficult fighter to read in the octagon? I think you talked about this one maybe already. I feel like we had this one a week or two ago.
Like Michael Van Page. I always talk about guys like Israel and Asanya. The guys like that are very hard to read. Even John Jones, I hope his outside ventures are going to be the same as inside. And then he's going to be a great person who could go down in history as the best fighter ever. And then inspire a lot of people. So I hope he cleans his life outside fighting up. I really hope that.
Paul, this one's too long to write up, but have you tried the new Logan combo?
Oh, that's with the front kick.
A 2, then right front kick, landing in southpaw, then left hook, right straight, left liver kick.
So he said left hook, right straight is southpaw. I say, you mean left straight, right hook? But he says, no, a hook and a straight. I go, it's kind of weird because the hook and then so, but because you're doing that, you for sure will trick your opponent because you will never straight comes never after a hook. Not on this side. From here it comes, you see? Mm-hmm. But not from here because I'm in this position. So the back hook with the front straight, you will surprise your opponent with it. That's one thing for sure. So we should try it out on each other one time, Paul.
You guys should tape that trying out on each other. Did you make it up, Paul?
Yeah, he made it up. He showed it to me.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds creative. Totally creative.
It is. It's good.
Someone said, Daniel says, your pool workout changed my life, Bas. That's awesome.
Boom.
Awesome.
Good. I love it. Yeah, I love that too. You know, because like a couple of weeks ago, I started training again, and I'm such a knucklehead because I didn't train for at least stamina for 10 weeks.
Yes.
And as soon as I did the pool workout, my life, it became 70% better. Everything, clarity, everything. And then I went through 10 rounds of the body action system. I didn't train stamina. So that's what I'm telling you, that also training, you can say whatever you want. I swear to you, it's ridiculous. Yesterday I did 15 1-minute rounds again on the kicking shield. That was my second time I did stamina.
Wow.
After 10 weeks. And I just blew through it.
Wow.
So
who was holding the shield?
No, that's a freestanding bag
okay.
that I have. And I kick very low because if I kick a little higher, I kick it on the ground.
So I can gosh.
Yeah.
Who was the poor person holding the shield for a minute?
And I put the sock from Tisha over it, but me on it.
Oh, yeah, okay. So
So
you're kicking yourself?
I'm kicking myself in the gut.
The bad covers are awesome. Paul said, okay, he gets to go first. If
Right.
you guys do it on each other. I don't know if you'll land anything. No offense, because you're really good, but I wouldn't be able to land anything. Jamie, please discuss who inspired you as a fighter.
Robert Dekkers, that was my guy, you know. I mean, this little Dutch guy that I was fighting with. Oh man, I hope that I can see this picture real fast. I hope I can find it really fast for you because then you can see what I mean. I got it. This was Robert Dekkers when he was little. This is when I met him for the first time. He was fighting at an event. I don't know. Yeah. But he was like 16 years old.
Oh.
And he was fighting on the same card as me. And a friend of mine comes to the dressing room and he says, hey, you got to check out this kid. He was a very skinny kid with a mullet. And he fought this heavier guy because in Holland they don't care. And it was an older guy. And I go, he's going to get killed. And he says, just wait. And he gave him one kick, the opening low kick, and he kicked the guy horizontal and he fell on the ground. Continued to fight and go like, holy motor, what is this? And it was such that was right away he got my attention. And then he went to Japan, to Thailand and started beating all these guys. First guy to knock out Koban. Remember that? I mean, 24 hits. I mean, yeah, that guy, I get goosebumps just thinking of him. It was, he really, yeah. I really wanted to be what he did. And then also the perseverance of Peter Ertz. Like Peter Ertz, I mean, I used to train with him and everything, but you know, for him, he had this mindset from going to the gym or to the fight, or if he buys a bread or a milk, it's the same for him as going to fight. You know, so completely in control, doesn't care, always pushing. What a tough guy, you know. So I was surrounded with guys that were just very good mentally and tough, you know, and you start looking at these people and you want to be like that.
Yeah.
So then you're going to start working on yourself. You want to see if you can do it.
Yeah. I think that can kind of tie into this question. What should you be able to do as a good martial arts or self-defense teacher?
Meaning?
I believe maybe expand. What should you be able to do as a good martial arts self-defense teacher? I think just overall instructing people.
You need to know why. Your student can be put behind every single thing. Why are you doing that? Mm-hmm. And you need to have the answer for it. And it is important. This is what I tell them. I have only 2 black belts. One is striking, Dwayne Ludwig, and then 2 black belts in the system with the crowd. Leave me in. And one is fish. But you can ask them anything. It doesn't matter. Why do I do this? Why do I do this? Why do that? Why do this? Every little detail you can ask why, they will have an answer. That's what a real martial arts instructor needs to have. And if you don't know the answer, don't make one up. Be honest. Say, I'm sorry, I don't know. But guess what? Tomorrow I will know. I'll come back to you tomorrow and I will have the answer for you. Let me do some homework. So just do that. But knowing what you're teaching, not what it looks like, understand the mechanics of it and the setups and everything. It's a lot. It's everything in fighting. Once you understand it, that's when you become really good. Not what it looks like. I've been over that a bunch of times, so next question.
Arnaud says you train together with Ramon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought. Arnaud is from Belgium also.
Oh, yeah. I went there to Mengho, train with all these guys, Luc Verheij, there's such animals there. Well, what a good group of people. We had such a good time. Oh, we would go party till like 7 in the morning. We go to lay on the beach for a couple hours, then we drive to the gym. Everybody's still messed up. music on, and then we start sparring, you know? Yeah, that's cool.
Arno wants to know what's your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, but I think you said we can't pick the Terminator.
Well, Commando, right? What about Sonny? Hey, Sonny, remember I told you I'll kill you last? Yeah. I lied. And then he holds him by the throat above a ravine. And then he drops him. And then he walks back to the car. And then the woman says, what happened to Sonny? He said, I let him go. Lines like that, they're all known now. Like also the old Cobra, you know, with, what's his name, Stallone. There's also, he walks into the store and this guy just shot a young kid and he's taking the store over. And then he grabs the microphone. He goes, hey, dirtbag. You're a lousy shot. I hate lousy shots. You wasted the kid for nothing. Now it's time to waste you. And then he says, no, man, I'm the future. He says, you're a disease and I'm the cure. You know, the lines that he has with the toothpick in his mouth. And the guy goes, go, I have a bomb here. I have a bomb. And he goes, don't go ahead. I don't shop here. Oh, you see lines like that. That's funny stuff to me. That's cool. Yeah. Seagal made a good comment. The worst, the biggest is assumption is the mother of all mistakes, which is true. Assumption is the mother of all mistakes. I like that quote as well.
That's very true. Keith wants to know, was there anyone that you wouldn't fight back when you were fighting?
No, I would try to every point. That's a thing, you know. I think as a fighter, I think you want to try out, even though if it's going to be really hard and you might lose. You know, you really, you want to try to just to see. So yeah, you know, I would like in boxing. Somebody told me that he would like to see me come back to do boxing against like Mike Tyson. That is something I will be very. Even if my arm would be healthy, I don't like to die. That is literally. I mean, think about it. How hard he can hit, and it's his sport.
But you can too.
I know, but you know, it's like kickboxing. Maybe if I can keep a leg in between and keep him far away, MMA for sure. You know, I almost was fighting Holyfield kickboxing. Yeah, look into that. It was funny because we had the Professional Fighters League. He was sitting first row watching, not the Professional Fighters League, the International Fight League, IFL. And Stephen Quadros, I told him the story that I was maybe going to kickbox him. And I think that he didn't believe me. So when he came over, he says, hey, he's here. You think I should ask? I said, oh, you thought I made it up? And I said, no, ask him. And then when he asked him about it, he said, yeah, I wanted to do it. But then when I saw him kick, I thought it was better to steer away from it. And then he went back to real boxing. But there was a moment that I almost was kickboxing against Evander Holyfield. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. And then
for his comeback match.
Brian talks about the Hickson Gracie one that
yeah.
Wish could have happened.
Wish could have happened.
Yeah.
And always been respect. It was always been respect. That's why I
Yeah.
wanted to fight Hickson, because
Yes.
I'm just amazed with how good he is on the ground.
Yes, exactly. Ernesto wants to know, how do you know when you're twisting your upper body enough for every punch? I think that's a good question.
So what there's a mirror next to us, which you cannot see. But so if I'm here, I always have the mirror there, and I always make sure that if I punch, that I see my shoulder past the other shoulder. So now I'm standing like this. Sometimes I flip around, so I'm in Dana's position. Now she can also see her shoulders going back and forth from that side. And then I'm standing front in the mirror. Most of the time, mirrors have like a little
like
separation part. You know, the line where the two mirrors meet each other. I stand right in front of that. And I like to put that line straight through my body so that my body moves just like this and not constantly to the side, so I can check that. Now with a body shot, of course, you're leaning a little bit to the side, and when you let people slipping and countering, that's a different thing. But I'm constantly checking on that, rotation. And what I said, every 2 or 3 weeks, I would film myself just hitting it back. Mm-hmm. And then once you film yourself, you realize you're not doing it, not as much as you think you are doing it. It's always less, always.
Yeah, and that's interesting. On Wednesday, there was a comment, and he called me the girl. He said, the girl's not rotating, she's just throwing arm punches. And I'm thinking, that's interesting, because I'm like, okay, maybe I wasn't rotating as much, especially after a hard round of the strength stuff. But I'm like, I don't believe I ever throw just an arm punch.
No, you never did it.
Right. I'm like, Bas certainly would tell me.
Say that.
Like, he would be like, he's not going to be shy to call me out and be like, Dana. And also, just I would hope at this stage in the game, throwing an arm punch feels like horrible.
So I was
like, okay, but and it made me think like, okay, like I probably always could rotate more,
yeah.
but also trying to keep up with the speed. So it's just like, okay, make sure.
No, you're rotating 100% because
Okay.
I would always say that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm like, I really don't think it's just an arm punch. Like, I really think that's probably not accurate.
That's what is it, the Planet Fitness, right? Where they don't judge. It's like the dumbest thing there is. Like, Dwayne Ludwig made a very funny video. He said, we're here at BANG Systems, we're not like Planet Fitness. Oh, we judge you, and we make sure you get better, I love that. Yeah. Because that's the only way to get better. If you don't get judged,
Right.
get away there. And a pizza Mondays, or what is it, bagel Mondays, or pizza Wednesdays? I thought you go to a gym to lose weight.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure Bas will be like, Dana, rotate. Like, I'm pretty sure he'll tell me if I'm really not rotating at all. This is one too. I wanted to address this one, Batman, before we sign off. You asked about your wife. I know, time flies.
Yeah.
So his wife, she wants to train, or she was starting to train, but then she would get sore or things would start hurting, and she would not do it again for 3 or 4 days. How do you keep women motivated? I think that if you just start slow and start with the basics, which we've all talked about before, hopefully, and just do a little bit. Like, she probably shouldn't do a whole hour. Just do 10, 15 minutes of just basics, and just like we talked, just feeling the rotation and throwing a punch out there. When I first started learning, I first did Krav Maga and I didn't know anything, but learning and being around it and being, around all the guys fighting, it made me feel like, wow, like I could really probably learn how to defend myself, even being a tiny person that I never knew how to defend myself. So hopefully just in small amounts, it can get in her mind and her brain, like, okay, this is really cool. But don't push it. Don't try to go too fast, because then it gets overwhelming. What do you?
Yeah, it depends. If it's martial arts, I would say let her get a basic stamina. There's nothing worse than the way they teach you things, but you get physically tired and you cannot do it, like you're constantly breathing. So that's why we tell people that a lot of people start here in this room. This is the bag room. And then after like a month or 6 weeks doing this, they have a basic stamina, and then they come taking my class on the other side. So that's a great thing. And exactly what you said. I started doing the pool workouts again. I told everybody, I started with 2 sets of everything. Not 4 that I always do. And I didn't push it hard. 2 days later, so once every day, 2 sets again. Once every day later, 3 sets. Then one more time, 3 sets. Once I did that, so I already worked out 4 times. Now I can full power 4 sets and I can blast. But I give myself, because I know that if I go too hard, I'm going to be in so much pain, and that, just like your wife, might steer you away from going back. But if you simply start slowly, just like Dana said, it's going to be easy. People always want to go from here to here. I always go with what Dwayne says, see it as a journey. It's not a race, it's a journey. Take your time. Why need to be there in 2 months if you can take 6 months? Slow and steady always wins the race, right? It is.
And when I teach, women intro to usually it's punching first, then kicking also. Most really love it, and it's like, I'm like, yeah, punching is not just for men.
No.
It's fun. They're like, whoa, I never knew that this, and I'm like, yeah, it's fun.
It's empowering.
Okay, this will be, I'll have you put this in after. Jorn wants a link for O2 Trainer in Europe, please.
.eu. O2trainer.eu.
Okay, O2trainer.eu.
Yeah, that's my buddy Peter. He said so. That's the guy I sent 8 days. No more Esmo.
Oh, nice.
That's what he said. I want to sell him in Europe, and he's still till this day doing that.
Okay, so just www.o2trainer.eu.
That's it. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I think you were a Facebooker, so I'll go put it in your comment too. Okay. Oh, he got it. Okay, he got it. Cool. Okay, you guys.
All right.
We'll see you tomorrow for recovery with your.
Don't forget your balls.
Balls. 2 tennis balls duct taped together, or if you have other ones they work too, lacrosse, etc. All right. Thank you guys all for the fantastic
Don't
questions.
take the jeu de boule balls.
Have a great
Metal-
rest of your day.
Metal balls. I have one of those in the sock. Like the jeu de boule, you know those things they play in France, the metal balls? Yeah. I have a long sock. There's one in there with a nut on the end.
Ah.
So you come in my house. Good luck.
As if he wasn't already a weapon.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
never
yeah,
know.
yeah.
If they know me, they probably come with weapons or with other
That's
people.
true,
Yeah?
that's
So
true.
you got to be ready for everything.
All right, thanks, you guys.
Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
Bye.